Every person has a story. Some are filled with joy, love, laughter. Others are filled with heartbreak, pain, addiction, trials, problems, life. Welcome to Season 2 of The Gate. This season, we're doing something a little bit different. Over the next 8 episodes, we're sitting down with 8 individuals, 8 stories. We will hear about the moments that shaped their lives. We will hear about their greatest battles and their greatest victories. These are not scripted testimonies that you're about to hear, but these are real conversations with real people and real stories. Behind every smile is a story. Behind every pew is a journey. So welcome to 8Lives. This is The Gate. So welcome, Mom, to The Gate.
Thanks.
To the podcast. Thank you for coming on today. Let's start off by you just introducing yourself and telling the people who you are.
I'm your mom.
Yes.
My name is Joni Mitchell, daughter of Danny and Donna Lewis, Bishop, wife of Shane, daughter-in-law of Sheila. Any other?
What do you do?
Mom, grandma, pastor's wife.
Have you ever had a career?
Sure.
Not that that isn't a career.
Babysitting.
Yeah.
Yeah, started babysitting when I was about 12 and babysat lots of kids. Actually, how I ended up meeting my husband. Worked at a daycare in Houston.
And
Ran
now-
a school for 16 years.
Yeah.
Kids church for, I don't know, maybe 20 years. Sunday school.
And kids is kind of your story.
Kids is kind of my thing.
And you are a pastor's wife. Did you mention that?
I did
Pastor's wife.
for a whole 1.75 years.
2 years
Oh,
almost.
2 years.
In August?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 years in August. What else about you? Where did you
Where were you born?
Longview, Texas.
I didn't know that.
I was born in Longview, lived maybe a couple years in Tatum, then a few months in McLeod, Texas, deputized, went on the mission field. So between traveling the U.S. and living in Cameroon, Africa, that was maybe 5 years of my life. And then at 9, no. So from 6 to 10, missionary kid, and then evangelist kid for a little while, and then pastor's kid in West Texas, Levelland. And then we moved here when I was in the middle of my freshman year. I did not want to start a new school. I was in public school out in West Texas, but I did not want to start a new school, so I homeschooled from the middle of my freshman year till I graduated. And then went to Texas Bible College for 1 semester.
Okay, let's slow down.
Yeah,
let's back up. So
You skipped a bunch here.
mainly probably your memory probably starts. Do you remember anything from Longview?
What's your first memory as far as like
Walking down the sidewalk in front of our little house in Tatum.
Very specific.
So I think it was
Okay.
probably my 5th birthday.
yeah.
Surely I have some memories before
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
It's just a part of life that you.
I remember my 6th
first.
birthday taking place at McLeod UPC Fellowship Hall. And then shortly after my 6th birthday, I got on a plane for the first time. And that was
to
going to Africa.
What was your I mean, you're pretty young then, so what are you thinking? Do you remember like your thoughts? This is cool. It's for you.
Yeah, I was kind of sad because of the people crying at the airport. But it was just an adventure for me. It was the best years, good years. Loved being in Africa. Loved my friends over there and
You
all
were
the
in Africa
adventures.
from 6 for 4 years, right?
Yeah, it was kind of broke up though.
Uh-huh.
So we were there for, I don't know, 3 years, 2.5, 3 years, and then came back home because budget ran out. And then while traveling to resupply the budget, Ryan's grandparents needed to come home on furlough because of sick parents. And so we went back as their furlough replacements. And we're there for, I don't know, 6 or 9 months that
What's
time.
your What's your fondest memories and least fond memories from Africa?
Fondest memories are probably riding dirt bikes with Ryan's dad and uncle and the other missionary boys through the jungle. Those were
Yeah.
good times. I loved being the only girl. And
You got all the attention.
yeah, it's just my speed. Boy stuff is my speed. No drama, just fun. Yeah. Me and his uncle Danny played for hours in the sand pile with Hot Wheels. Those are lots of good memories too. He had a whole canvas duffel bag full of Hot Wheels.
Mm.
And how you started every playtime was, he pick, I pick, he pick, I pick. We get all our vehicles and then we go at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun.
What else in Africa?
No, adventure. Just great rugged adventure. Cutting trees to get to churches, baptisms and alligator infested rivers. Just fun.
What'd you hate about it? Did you hate anything about it?
No, nothing. Christmas was great because my grandparents missed us so bad. They sent us boxes and boxes and boxes of the best toys. So no, I didn't miss anything. I loved the food, loved the people. Didn't mind not having AC. Everything was good for me. Kids are versatile and flexible. And
when you think about your childhood, if you go back to what we call our core childhood memories, is most of that formed in Africa? Or not really?
I guess so. I do remember deputation. I remember having the slideshow pretty much memorized. Like I could have given it in place of my dad. I helped him set up the projector. It was a click projector. It was nothing digital. It was like little square slides that you drop down in a ring, and it click. One slide goes down, and anyway, it projects.
So that's in the 80s. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mom would sing the same songs, so I could sing all those.
Did you have your dad's messages memorized?
No. Dad doesn't repeat messages.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 or 3 times he repeated. No, it was a new message every night.
That's an anomaly.
Yeah. He's not like other preachers. He never runs out of things to say, messages to preach.
Okay, so then after in Africa for total 4 years, up to the age of, when did y'all go to Tatum? I don't know, when did you come back? Tatum was first.
And then we evangelized for just a little while. I do remember that first revival. Well, I say first. I really don't know. I remember a revival in Athens, Texas.
Paul, I want to pause. And you may not know the answer to this. What happened? What was the thing that said, what was the release that made y'all, or made them really stop being missionaries?
Well, of course, I'm just saying this by what I've heard them say, because they did not involve me in that decision making, obviously, at age 9 or 10 or whatever I was, 11. But Dad just felt like it was time after that stint of furlough replacement. And I think the age of his children was a big factor, I've heard him say. Just sensing, we were going to start being attracted to the opposite sex. And
yeah, because Josh is older, right? Yeah,
right. My brother was 2 years older. And of course, we were there with them always. So, yeah, I think he just realized it was a very pivotal time, and he wanted us, his children, to have some American culture, youth camps and all the things.
Were you sad leaving?
I don't remember really being sad leaving. No. I guess I was pretty much an easygoing child. Everything was just a new adventure. Exciting.
What about Josh? Was Josh sad or happy?
I don't know.
We don't know. We'll have to
he wouldn't play with me.
Okay, so you're 10, Josh is 12.
We'll come back,
My
started
papa and granny
5th
would
grade.
be how they're.
Oh, we had the revival in Athens, and it may have gone on for 6 weeks or more. I don't know. It was
That
a
was the
long
first
time.
thing, kind of
Yeah,
coming back.
we got a camper trailer and hit the evangelist road, field, whatever. And so I'm sure we had maybe other revivals, but I just remember that one because we were there for so long, and you just make connections with people. And there was this guy named Lee, and he was probably 19 or so, but I think he was probably, I don't know if he played the drums. Anyway, he was just so attractive to me. So it was my first encounter with, crush, American guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, I remember Lee from Athens, and he was probably 8 years older than me.
Well, Lee,
I was a little
if you're
kid.
listening to the podcast.
Yeah,
Hey,
I'm sure he's
secret
rolling.
admirer.
Yeah.
What?
Okay.
How old were you when you received the Holy Ghost?
I was 9, and that actually took place. Ironically, we were on the mission field. We were probably traveling right before we went back, and that happened in Silsbee, Texas,
Really?
with what became one of my very best friends, Chantel Bryan. Her granddad was the pastor there in Silsbee at Abundant Life. Brother White was the assistant to Brother Bryan at that time. And we were there for a missions conference. It was an Easter Sunday. I believe it was Brother J.T. Pugh preaching. Not that anybody ever remembers what's preached in those services, but yeah, a bunch of those kids gathered around me that night, and I got the Holy Ghost. And Chantel was one of them. She was very outgoing, which we had been playing. Yeah, Chantel and Ben White. I remember all of them from that. We had our trailer there for a little while. They were all just kids. So I think I broke an egg on Ben's head or his little brother. It was Easter time, so there must have been eggs around.
Yeah.
I just remember. Yeah, we had a good old time.
Huh.
But yeah, so imagine my surprise when Dad takes the church here. I walk in and there's Chantel. I was like, you go to this church?
Yeah.
I'm moving here.
Did
So-
y'all evangelize through? I mean, deputize through here?
Obviously.
Yeah.
Or,
don't remember coming to this church. No.
Mm-mm.
But that's much later. You said freshman year.
Yes.
That
Yeah, so
before y'all
like
came here.
14 when I moved here.
So okay, so y'all come off the field.
Evangelized for a little
Evangelized.
while, took church in Levelland.
Okay, so that's when y'all went to level.
Okay,
Started
what are the
5th
thoughts
grade.
behind that?
It was
Because there's
it was
nothing
weird
in Levelland.
starting a new school, public school.
Was that's
Been
your
in
first
Africa.
introduction
I
to
was in
school?
public school in kindergarten right before we flew to Africa. So I was in kindergarten when we left the States. So I just had a touch of public school and then started 5th grade. Yeah. All the terminology, everything was so foreign. Like, you want to go out with this guy? I'm like, go? I'm in 5th grade. Where are we going to go?
Yeah.
So much to learn. It was culture shock.
Did you have any friends?
No. Yes, I had friends. They actually fought over me the first day of school. You have like these gangs, these groups,
Yeah.
the preppy kids and then the not so preppy kids.
The not so preppy kids won.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. I tried the preppy kids out for a few days and I just fit better with the geeks.
Yeah. Okay. What's there to know about you during that time? 5th grade. I don't know how old that is. How old is that? That's 11, 12?
Mm-hmm. It was fun. I liked the church. I had, friends at church and
Is there a lot of kids there at church?
it
your
felt
age?
like it.
Yeah.
Coming from really just having my brother.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, we had a quiz team. We had you can't call them youth leaders. They were just parents of some youth that were there, but that's always how it was in my youth.
Yeah.
We never had youth leaders. We had parents who did all the stuff. So Harley and LaDawn Hunt played a big role. Still do. They came to my wedding. They've come several times since we moved here. They're still out there. But they had 3 boys, around our age. They were our quiz coaches. Our youth leaders took us everywhere, and everywhere out there is a long ways because every youth rally was 2 or 3 hours away. That was Texaco District.
And so did y'all start attending the camps and
Yep.
all that stuff?
Yep. that was my first introduction to camps because we were not in this district. So I never, went to these camps when I was older.
Yeah. Okay, so that's just kind of whatever. And then how did we end up in Kirbyville?
Mom or dad won. I don't remember the exact instance. I kind of, I remember being a little shocked because at that age, then stuff starts affecting you.
Right.
Then when you're told you're moving, it feels a little different. The other moves, so what? It's just an adventure. Bye.
And y'all are still in Levelland.
We're in Levelland when mom or dad, probably mom said, we're going out of town. Of course, we would come down here to visit my grandparents, both sides, and it's a 10 to 12 hours every time we would come for Thanksgiving, Christmas, whatever. Well, we were coming back this way, 10 or 12-hour trip, but this time it was to go preach at a church. And I was like, okay, why?
Yeah.
And, said, well, we're trying out for a church. And I was like, and if you get it, then that means we're leaving here. So that was a big deal,
Yeah.
For the positive or the negative or both?
Well, I mean, you do leave all your friends, everything you know. Yeah.
Okay, so in 94, the decision is made, and y'all end up moving here.
One time we were down here for Thanksgiving, and we got a call, 12 hours from home. Our house has been broken into. Some great saint in the church had a scanner and heard it.
Wow.
We lived right behind a convenience store. So there was like a main highway, an Allsup's gas station and convenience store, and then our house and the church. And there's this alley that ran right behind that convenience store. Well, they caught him. We didn't get everything back, but they caught him because they couldn't run. They had all the shotguns and rifles stuck in their pants.
Oh my gosh.
We'll never forget that. That's a funny memory for me. So yeah, we came home and had been broken into. Anyway, that was totally off the subject. Just thought that was.
So you're a freshman in high school. Had anything? Because I mean, everything from this up to this point just sounds positive. And do you have? Is there anything negative that's happened in this time frame? Anything that just, or is it just
I'm a real
happy-go-lucky? I know that's more your personality.
Relationships. I'm very easygoing, laid back, but also very loyal. So every relationship I ever got in, whether just a girl friendship or a guy relationship, was always like till death do us part. I'm sold out. But even that, no, I did have the Hunt's oldest boy. I was in love with him, wanted nothing but him. But then when I got him, I really didn't like him. So that was all done and good. So no, the only negative at that point would be leaving, my really good friends.
Yeah.
Connie, who ended up marrying Troy, and they're still happily married. And Holly, we're still friends. She was in my wedding. She flies here, I fly there. Bad, negative. No, I didn't have any big mishaps. No big sin issues. I did try cussing.
How'd that work out for you?
It was real awkward. It didn't come out very good, so I was like, I don't think I'm gonna do that anymore.
Yeah.
You sound like a missionary kid.
There's no telling what I called that boy. I can't remember. I'm sure it didn't fit.
Oh, so this was in front of people, like.
Yeah, this was like on a field trip.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Did you practice beforehand or?
No.
Oh, okay, you just let it fly.
It was in a fit of rage.
Oh wow!
It didn't work out good.
Did that get back to your parents?
I don't remember. No, sorry, Mom and Dad. That's probably the first they've heard of that. Too.
Okay, I was wondering how that conversation went. Just let us know.
No,
how that conversation goes.
One time, Jeremy Crank called my house. See, these public school boys didn't realize the rules around the Lewis household. You don't talk on the phone with the opposite gender.
Right.
And he had the audacity to call my house during supper, and I'm like, don't ever call my house again. Those were the only really negative things I can remember. I didn't really like school.
Really?
It nerved me out. I got sick every morning waiting on the bus. I was just not an outgoing person. And I was pretty much the only Pentecostal in my school. Yeah. Yeah, the only. Besides a boy, and yeah, he was something else. He did go to my church, but um so that was always stressful.
Yeah.
I didn't know
Yeah.
how to handle pressure and conflict. But I mean, I was good at school. I was always teacher's pet. Liked to work. I got to work in the office and do fun stuff like that. But yeah, I was full on nerd. Awkward.
Okay, so got to Kirbyville in ninth grade.
Walked in the front door, saw Crystal Coker. She's beautiful. Crystal's so pretty. She's a little bit younger than me. Long, dark, naturally curly hair, dark olive skin, beautiful big white teeth, smile.
This is at school?
No, this is right here in the foyer.
Oh, at church.
And she talks so country. And I was like, oh my goodness, where have I arrived? Anyway, she and Josh ended up making a jam up quiz team along with others.
Where is she at? I don't know her.
That is Eugene and Callie Davis's daughter, and she's actually deceased
Oh.
now.
Huh.
Yeah. Sadly.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was beautiful, beautiful soul. Anyway, yep. Good times. Big youth group for me. You know, bigger than I'd come from.
Mm-hmm.
Who was... Because they had a youth pastor then, right?
Mm.
Here? No? No youth pastor? Who was in the youth group?
Oh, the Wallaces. So that would have been Christy and Jamie and Jason. And then David Wagnon and his little brother Wesley were here. Chantel. Crystal. Her little siblings weren't quite youth age yet. There were others. John, you know, Mitchell. John and Cheryl.
Oh, yeah.
John was around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Good times.
What about school?
Homeschooled.
Well, you did a little bit of public school, didn't you?
Not
say
here.
that? Oh, none here.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Nope. Abeka video homeschool till I graduated. Good education. Boring.
Mhm.
I was serious about PE. Did it every day.
Did you make any friends outside of church in the community? Not
No.
really.
Nope.
Was
Mom and Dad never really. They always encouraged Josh to work. Not me so much. Not like go out and get a job. I did apply at Dairy Queen and stuff. We actually had Dairy Queen. I didn't get hired.
Where did Josh go work at?
He was already mowing lawns before he was mowing lawns in Levelland. But see, Josh graduated before we moved. He graduated at 16.
That's right.
So he
Yeah.
was already going to Lamar
Yeah.
and stuff once we moved
Okay.
here. And then he moved to Eunice and lived with my grandparents, went to college there. So my brother didn't really make
Right.
any connections here.
What'd y'all do for fun? What's the core memories, Kirbyville, while you were still
Sunday nights, a lot of times we're at our house.
service or just after?
No, people
Just
come
like-
over and eat. Mom would cook something. Everybody
Yeah.
come hang out. We participated in all the things. We had some good, like, all-night prayer meetings.
Oh Lord.
Mm.
Cops stopped by the church, like, what are y'all doing? It's 3 a.m. or whatever.
Yeah.
We're praying.
Very reasonable question.
Yeah, had some
That's it.
boyfriends.
Yeah. There's a lot of church drama when y'all moved here
No,
with
not that I knew of.
yeah.
Yeah.
My parents are the best. They didn't talk that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there was, because there was people that left, and I heard later people that thought he was too liberal, people that
Which is so
thought he
ironic.
was what I don't. Who knows? I don't know. They don't talk about it.
Yeah.
It's irrelevant.
Well, you can go listen to Clint Husband's episode.
Be the one
Yeah.
before this.
He thought,
No, yeah, the
yeah,
one
he
before the
confessed,
last,
in
actually.
which that's public knowledge. But that, yeah,
Yeah,
he
he
was
made
one of
that
the people
comment.
that thought, yeah, Bishop was too liberal.
Yeah.
Then, which is so.
It's so funny.
It's always those people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Clint.
Clint,
Yeah.
the dope smoking,
Yeah, it is too liberal for me.
Yeah.
hoe chasing.
Yeah.
Not really.
Yeah, it didn't age very well because he just stayed the same, and everyone else around him got way more liberal and charismatic. But
Yeah. That's funny.
Well, when you focus on principles, not laws and
Right.
rules, it comes across that way sometimes.
Right.
yeah,
But ends up with more consistency. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
he's the most consistent
Yes.
man that I've ever
Yes.
known.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Thank God. And now we have a church culture that's not about focusing on people's weaknesses and faults and failures. We just keep pledging forward. That's not a word, pledging, but anyway,
Yeah.
you got it.
So what's the plan at this point? I mean,
The plan?
as far as then.
When
what's
I
the
was
plan
14?
then? Yeah.
There
yeah.
was no plan. And when I graduated, there was still no plan.
You sound like Anna.
And I was
Like-
getting kind of like panicked. Because of my good schooling, I had been forced to write papers about what I was going to be, do research. Like literally, I had to go interview people, like dental hygienists. This is what I chose. I went and talked to dental hygienists and stuff.
Yeah.
So I did my homework. It's not like I was allowed just to fluff around, but I had no direction, did not know. All I ever wanted to be was a wife and a mom.
Yeah.
No.
That was my aspirations. I mean, besides, there was a time in my life when I was probably 8 or 9 that I wanted to wear high heels and work downtown in a skyrise. That was the limit of my ambition. I don't know what I was going to do
Yeah.
in my high
Yeah,
heels
yeah,
in
just-
the high rise. It
just go
didn't
every
matter.
morning.
I
Yeah.
just wanted to click, click, click down the
No.
concrete and walk into the big building.
So why'd you end up at Texas Bible College?
Because one day, approaching graduation or shortly after, my mom was like, "Have you ever thought about just going to TBC?" I was like, "Great idea, let's do that." So I applied for the She's for Christ scholarship, got it. It's like, "Thank you, Jesus, for confirmation." Off I went to Houston, which in the meantime, Chantel and I and another girl that was here, Angela Dubose, we graduated together. She was also a homeschooler.
Yeah, fun.
Yeah, great times. Lame times. She gave a speech.
Oh,
And then
wow.
I gave a speech at our graduation. She had actually typed hers up and everything.
Yeah.
Nobody gave me the memo. I just get up there and fly by the seat of my pants. Felt like an idiot. I was like, you could have told me you were actually preparing.
Was this at church? What was?
Yes, it was. We
like
had
Wednesday
cap
night
and
or-
gown. I don't remember. Shane was there. We had started talking.
So sad.
My boyfriend. Oh, yeah, it was.
Okay.
Yeah. Want to
let's-
go back and meet him.
Yeah, let's go there. I mean, because
How'd we
we've
meet?
interviewed
Okay.
him. He's got a whole
Okay,
polar
so that's
opposite
yeah.
story of you.
That's
so how
really
did that
that's
happen?
really a Jesus thing in my life, because I told you how I am about relationships. Till death do us part. Even if I'm 9 years old, you're my man till the end. So I met this guy here. Bruce was one of the young people. He wasn't here when we got here. My first encounter with Bruce was we were remodeling our house upon moving here, and he came in. And I think he might have done some work, or I don't know. I know we were refinishing floors. Maybe he didn't do any work, but I just remember we were refinishing wood floors when I first saw him. And I wasn't impressed and taken with him at that time, but he had overdosed on mushroom tea. And that's how Dad came to know him. He met him at the hospital.
Nice.
And so these are the kind of guys I'm drawn to.
Yeah.
Got a type.
Evidently.
Bum magnet is what my dad called me. So we ended up talking. Bruce was like 4 years older than me. I was still in school, homeschool.
It's illegal.
It's not illegal.
It's borderline. It's close.
It's not illegal to have a boyfriend. It's illegal to do sexual things with them, which we don't consider doing.
It's frowned upon.
Anyway. So we ended up romantically involved. And of course, it was serious for me. I guess it was serious for him because he actually asked my dad
At what age?
if we could be married.
How old are you? And he's
I don't know. We dated whatever for 2 years. I don't know. 18 minus 2. That's yeah.
Okay.
I was driving right around the time I got my
So
license.
16,
Yeah.
17.
We weren't allowed to go out together. My parents did not really approve.
That's what I was gonna ask. What did dating actually look like? I mean,
We talked at church,
Yeah.
but you know.
yeah.
We did the first time we got to ride together, which my friends had to ride with us, was to a church Christmas banquet. So it was pretty strict. But I mean, you got to realize my dad's first encounter with him was at the hospital, and he
Yeah.
had
Well,
overdosed on
that's what
mushroom tea.
that's
You
why I
know,
was curious and
put
asked the
yourself
question.
there as a father.
Yeah.
So I mean, now I can totally understand. Then I felt very abused, misused. Like I'm 16 years old. I should be able to go on dates.
No.
And so that was a whole different thing. Don't necessarily want to talk about my rebellion,
Tell
but
us about your rebellion.
there was rebellion with Bruce. Like I thought I should be able to date, so I would just sneak out the window. And then I got tired of going out the window, so I just walked out the back door at night after everybody was asleep. And then one night, my dear brother, I think, was up doing push-ups with his lights out and saw me walk by and told on me. Such a loser. Always has been such a loser, Josh. Anyway, Dad found us. So Bruce and I are riding through town in the middle of the night in his little navy blue Ford Escort. And
Papa goes out looking.
I look over, and the worst feeling ever. There's my dad.
And he's probably
He's smiling. He's smiling at
He's
you.
not smiling.
Oh wow.
I see him out the window smiling.
Yeah.
He runs Bruce off the road,
Oh wow.
God.
pulls his door open, and comes in upon him.
I can totally see
Sick.
that.
Yeah.
I've seen
There are
variations of that.
there are no words to describe that night. He never touched me. He didn't say much.
He ran him off
didn't
the
have
road with
to.
his vehicle.
Yeah. No sirens or lights needed. I mean, the message was clear. Pull over.
So funny.
Pull over. He was furious. Yeah.
What did he say to Bruce?
I don't know.
No.
I don't know. I think it's suppressed memories. It was just the worst ever.
So then you had to go get in your truck with your dad and go back home?
I don't know what he was in, but I ended up home.
No.
And I did not drive my car for a long time.
Did that end the relationship?
No. We got engaged after that, I believe. And that was a turning point too, because it had been rebellion, go against. And when Bruce came to me and said, my dad said yes, everything shifted.
Yeah.
I mean, I was so, great. I've been left on my own to make the right decision. Now I really got to think for myself, because Mom and Dad have stopped trying to control me, because I knew how they felt. I knew it wasn't the right thing. Well, in that period of time, thanks be to Jesus and praying parents, Bruce backslid. Bruce cheated on me with another girl. So obviously I gave the ring back, but I couldn't let go of him.
Were you already at TBC then?
No.
Okay.
No.
Pause. Let's take a peek at your relationship with God during all this.
Oh, there
Were
was
you
no
close?
relationship with God. I would go to the prayer room. I mean, I maintained the walk, the talk.
Right.
But I was always in the prayer room. But I remember praying, God, if you need me out of this relationship, you're going to have to do it, because I just don't have the strength.
Well, that's some relationship with God then.
Yeah. But I guess when you're going against your parents and your godly authority, because my parents, it's weird, but my dad was my pastor.
Yeah.
He was my covering in every way. And so that was that. But yes, I never forsook God by any means. I just didn't obey him. So yeah, the whole God thing was at some point in my senior year, me and Chantel and Angela went to preview weekend in Houston, TBC. It was fun. It was good. We stayed in the dorms, made friends. The chorale was getting ready to go on summer tour, and they were practicing late at night. So at 10 o'clock, they had a practice. We were like, let's go watch them. We went to the chapel and watched them practice, and the Holy Ghost fell in that practice. And I ended up on my face under a pew in that chapel. And in that moment, God delivered me from Bruce. Just took him out of my heart. You know, I was consumed. I had already started talking to Shane. Shane had reached out through his mother.
No.
I was working at a fireworks stand, and at that time they let us park him on 96 in Berkshire Brothers parking lot. And I would see him circle through in his big loud black truck with his speakers blaring. And then, like I said, Bruce and I were still talking, not romantically, but I was just hung up on him. So Bruce was at the fireworks stand talking to me, and he finally left. Well, while he was there, Sheila drove up, and I had babysitted for Sheila. She called the pastor's house. She didn't go to our church. She went to Kirbyville Apostolic. She called my mom and dad's house one night saying, hey, is there anybody in your church that babysits? My mom's like, well, actually my daughter does. And she's like, well, I have a daughter in 8th grade and a granddaughter in kindergarten. I need somebody to pick them up from school and keep them till I get off work. And I was like, yeah, I'll do it. So she told her, and that's how I got connected with that family. So I would pick up Shalina, pick up April, take them to Sheila's house, let ourselves in, cook them pizza, wait till Sheila got home. That was our routine. One day, opened the back door, pushed it open, and a figure raises up on the couch in the living room. It's dark. And I'm like, what is that? And he pulls his shirt on and he's scraggly and he just walks by me out the back door. And I'm like, what was that?
Homeless man camping in here.
That's my uncle, April says. like, don't mind him. He gets in his truck, leaves. That was my first encounter with him. So anyway, months, year, I don't know. Later, I no longer had the babysitting gig. Shalina got old enough to take care of them themselves. And Sheila comes by the stand. Hey, Joni, just want to say hi. She leaves because Bruce was there. Bruce leaves. She comes back. She's just circling through town waiting for me to be alone. She was like, hey, I thought you and Bruce were broke up. Are y'all still together? I said, no, we're just friends. She's like, oh, okay, blah, 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 chit chat. Well, my son.
The mom that was in my house.
He recently prayed through or whatever. He recently started coming to church. She didn't say prayed through because he hadn't prayed through at that point. Anyway, he's in Dallas working right now, but he'll be home. Do you mind if I give him your number? I was like, I don't mind. Anyway, that was that. He didn't call me. I was like, well, I don't know what that was. He never called. Well, then he finally did call. And we talked for hours and he told me that whole story.
Yeah.
And I didn't think he was crazy. I remember specifically laying across my bed, facing that window I used to sneak out, listening to him, thinking, this is amazing. So yeah, he didn't run me off with that. Then he didn't call. That was it. We talked for like 2 hours that time, and then he didn't call. I don't know what was going on. In the meantime, we had talked. I remember spending time at my grandparents in Eunice, and we talked on the phone. So, it started picking up. We talked a little more.
Did Papa,
but I was still talking to Bruce.
You were talking?
I have no idea. No. But it wasn't a negative thing. Yeah. It wasn't. I didn't have to hide it. Didn't feel that way. So in the meantime, I went to TBC, and that happened. And I got delivered from Bruce. Emotionally, mentally. And so then that kind of just opened, the ability to move on with the relationship with Shane. And, yeah. He would never come to Houston. And that made me so angry. Like, here I had this good-looking boyfriend with beautiful blue eyes and a motorcycle. I could just see him pulling up on the TBC campus on his motorcycle, and all the girls being like, "Who is that?"
You're not
And
allowed
me
to date
being
your
like,
freshman year.
"That's my boyfriend." Yeah, I know.
No.
But you could have a date to the Christmas banquet,
No.
and I wanted one.
And he wouldn't come.
And he never once came to Houston when I was in Houston. So I broke up with him and got me a date for the Christmas banquet. Sure did. Yep, Chad. I was telling the girls this story the other day about my different boyfriends. My first Chad boyfriend, I was in kindergarten. And then I showed up at Lewis Reunion and he was there. So we had to break up. Chad's my cousin. We were boyfriend in kindergarten. Anyway. And then when I was at TBC preview weekend, another Chad took me out for breakfast the morning we were leaving. Yeah, Chad. He ended up something big, but we didn't hit it off. And then I dated, Chad took me to the Christmas banquet when I was at TBC. And then I went up to his parents' house over the Christmas break and met all his family. Good times. He came to our house and my parents were like,
They didn't like Chad? Who's Chad? Is Chad around? Is Chad listening to this?
I hope not. But my mom was not. No, not the one. No. I'd bring his clothes home when I'd come home for the weekend and wash them.
That's gross.
That's
That's disgusting.
That's just odd to me, huh?
I dried his shoes and he was upset about that. He asked me not to. Like, dude, I am doing your laundry and you're going to be picky about how I do it? Anyway, because we had to pay to do laundry at TBC. This is going to be really long.
Yeah.
Dear Lord. Anyway, where were we?
So, okay. So
Chad.
No.
Okay, so I came home for Christmas break.
Yeah.
TBC.
Yes.
I got Chad. In the meantime, like I made chorale, so I got to go sing places with the chorale. So we sang in Beaumont. Shane came. We were broke up. Keep in mind. Showed us up in a suit. Now, believe it was like pulling teeth for him to get a tux for us to go to prom. Whole nother story. We won't go there. But yeah, he was not wearing anything buttoned right here.
Yeah.
When we broke up and I was at TBC, dating TBC guys, he started wearing suits. Showed up at...
Ties.
Yeah. I was like, oh, he does like me. So I came home for Christmas break. And he was talking to a girl from Bonware. And I had Chad. And for some reason, he wanted to go to the church and pray one night. And I was like, sure, let's go. Because that was what we did for dates back in the day when we dated. We'd go pray and then ride around. Every now and then we go out to eat. But no, he's still about the same. That's about the extent of our dates. We go to church. So I agreed. We went prayed, and then he ended up asking me to marry him.
Like there?
Yeah.
Like at the prayer meeting? Like
In that church.
Jesus' name, amen. Will you marry me? Like,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah. We've been praying different places. I think Casey Trowbridge was there that night. Y'all know Casey?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Casey Trowbridge. She was our pal then. She helped us put together a really amazing drama during that season of our lives. And yeah, she would go to the prayer meetings at the church with us sometimes. But yeah, I was done praying. I wasn't near as spiritual as him. And I was sitting up toward the back, and he came from the front and sat down beside me and asked me to marry him. It's like, well, I need to go break up with my boyfriend.
Poor Chad.
Yeah. So this is all, Christmas
Chad
break
made it
at
deserve
college is real long. It's a whole month.
Yeah.
So a lot can transpire. There was this this wedding shindig that they do at the Montaigne Center at Lamar. All these vendors set up cakes, dresses, everything for a wedding, harp players. You can go. You pay a lot of money. You go. You look. You plan. Well, my mom's all excited because we're having a wedding. She's like, let's go. My grandma comes down. Everybody, we all go to the wedding thing at the Montaigne Center. And I run into Mandy Orange, who's now Mandy Elms. Well, Mandy and Andrew Elms were at TBC when I was there. And Mandy says, what are you doing here? You and Chad?
Oh my
And it was
goodness.
like,
Actually, no.
no, me and Shane. And that's how word got back to Chad.
And Chad figured
Poor
out
Chad.
Because I never called him and let him know
Yeah,
that.
you're wrong for that.
Well, he didn't call me either, so if he'd have called, I'd have told him.
Because, that's standard procedure. Boyfriends should call their girlfriends, see if they got
Right.
engaged.
You're not husband.
Yeah, hey, yeah.
You're
Just
not
checking
husband
in.
or boyfriend material if you cannot read my mind.
Yeah, yeah. Checking in. You engaged, married? Anything
Yeah.
happened since
Yeah.
last week? No?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I asked Chad to play the drums in my wedding.
No, you did not.
He said no.
That's doubly wrong.
I thought we could be friends. I didn't see why we couldn't be friends. But all his friends did not think that was very nice of me. When I went back to TBC, I was like pariah. I quit. I dropped out. Everybody hated me so much that I just couldn't handle it. Actually, my mom was like, well, you need to plan a wedding. You should really come home. So I did. I quit. Moved back.
Okay, so you get married. In this time that you're now married, are you seeing a future where Shane is pastoring a church?
No, we used to talk about that. No, he did not want to be pastor.
No.
Nope. As a matter of fact, I didn't even see us here at Gateway.
That's right, because y'all
Yes.
were going to Apostolic.
Yes. When we got married, we went to his church. That was agreed upon from engagement. And I didn't necessarily like it, but I was like, anything for you, babe. That changed a lot.
I've heard Brother Shane say that your mom rooted for him. Is that true?
She did.
That's so strange to me.
Yes. And they're still pals.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's always
just,
had
just
his
her
back.
the personalities there. That's so strange to me.
Yeah. Yeah, and she never really liked anybody.
Yeah. What was
So-
your dad's thought?
She didn't even like Chad.
I think I think God prepared him.
Yeah. Just felt right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, because he didn't even process the facts, of how little time Shane had even lived for God.
Really?
Like that didn't even
Yeah. Cross his mind.
process with him almost until wedding day.
Yeah.
And then he's thinking about it and he's like, "Oh my goodness.
What am I doing?
What,
here?
yeah.
Yeah. Did it cross your mind? I mean, did you process that or think that way or? Because I mean.
Yes, I felt really weird about marrying who I was marrying because, you just think pedigree and you think this is not what was intended for me. I should be marrying a preacher's kid.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it just ended up right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I knew there was
Yeah.
no doubt, and I mean there was confirmation. So yeah, I mean, I think the best confirmation was just my parents' approval. That was everything. And I know everybody doesn't have that. A lot of kids can't rely on their parents' approval or disapproval, but I knew I could.
Yeah.
So let's shift gears and enter how you arrived at the person you are today, which in the beginning we described as really being kids. That's your life. Has been your life.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start with kids. How many kids do you have?
2 plus 4 plus
Yeah.
3 plus 2.
Yeah. Okay.
2 biological sons, 2 daughters-in-law, 4 adopted daughters, 3 grandbabies. I consider them all mine.
Yeah. So let's start with kids, and yeah, we could be here for days, but let's talk about your trauma with the worst son, and then we can kind of fast forward into adopting kids.
Okay. So my first baby, I was overdue. Ugh. And so when you're overdue, when you're past your due date, they start monitoring the baby to make sure the baby's not going into distress. And so I had already had one of those appointments and I was going to my second one. Shane couldn't go. He didn't need to take off of work. So my mom was going with me. We were scheduled to be at St. Elizabeth Hospital for this at 9 a.m. It was a rainy day. We were pushing it for time just a little bit. And I would always park in the north garage and we would walk across floor 3. I remember pulling into the north garage and feeling Daniel kicking against the seatbelt, which he was not named Daniel. He didn't have a name till about 5 hours after he was born. So I felt the baby kicking against the seatbelt as I was pulling into the garage. We get to the monitoring room. Like I say, it was probably 9:02 by the time we got to the 3rd floor to where we had to be for the monitoring. They stick the little sticky pads on your belly. Couldn't find a heartbeat. So they move them. Couldn't find a heartbeat. So they asked me to lay on my left side. Couldn't find the heartbeat. I was like, oh my goodness. Finally, it comes on the sound machine, and it's like, whoop, 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 whoop. I'm like, that does not sound right. You know, every other time it's like,
Yeah.
and it was a womp womp. And so then they're like, turn over. And I turn over. And they just keep on, and they're not saying anything, not telling me anything. And then they start taking my shoes off, ask for my glasses. I didn't have my contacts in that day. I had my glasses on. Give me a gown, order an ultrasound, and like prepping me for surgery, and didn't even tell me a thing. Anyway, so after the ultrasound, they're like, we're gonna have to take the baby. I'm like, what do you mean, take the baby? Like, you're gonna have C-section. So it's like, okay. So it's like, will you call Shane? So mom goes in the hall to call Shane. She's on the phone with him as they're rolling me by, and I'm like, come on, mom, because we went to classes and they told us that I could have a person in there. You can, when you have a C-section, you can have one person in there. So I was like, come on, mom. And they're like, no, honey, she can't come because it's an emergency. I was like, oh. So anyway, by this point, I'm like shaking uncontrollably, just scared to death. Everybody, I mean, how much do you weigh? How tall are you? We've got one person over here putting an IV in, one person over here taking blood pressure, just stuff. And then finally, the anesthesiologist comes in, puts a hot blanket over me, talks calmly. And I was like, finally, somebody that talks to me. And that's the last thing I remember. And
What happened?
I had a baby. Daniel was born at 9:20. Everybody was on that floor. The anesthesiologist, the surgeons, everybody was there. So I got there at 9:02, and all of this transpired. The testing, the changing, the ultrasound. He was born on his birth certificate. It's 9:20. I was hemorrhaging. Yeah. So once your placenta abrupts, it's just minutes before the baby and the mama are dead. So it happened somewhere from the parking garage to there. And everybody was just there. So miracle number 1. And then totally unrelated, but on the day of discharge, I was discharged. They were circumcising Daniel. They monitor them for 1 hour after circumcision. During that 1 hour of monitoring, he turns gray, stops breathing, heart rate drops. And they're like, we don't know why. And so for 9 days, they run every test under heaven on him. Well, it's just sleep apnea. But anyway, he was in the NICU for 9 days. We pulled a camper trailer down there, stayed at the Apostolic Church. Thank you, brother and sister. Forgot who was pastor there.
I don't remember.
They're dead, so it's okay.
No.
Brother Carr, we appreciate y'all's hospitality.
No.
Anyway, finally got to come home. He was fine. On a monitor. He didn't die. We had to shake the baby a lot. Monitor would go off and heart rate would drop, and you'd shake the baby and he'd come back alive. And he's still pretty much that way. Like, he wasn't at practice Sunday morning because of that.
Yeah.
Because Reagan didn't shake him hard enough.
No.
He just pretty much,
little...
he pretty much dies when he goes to sleep.
Yeah.
Okay, so fast forward.
Had you had the same thing, but you don't sleep as good, so
Yeah.
you could wake yourself up from dying. Appreciate that.
And then 16 years after that, what happened?
Well, you can tell that story.
I don't want to tell that story.
You were well able to remember. Yeah, I got pregnant. As
Or
if
15.
Daniel's 16, you were 14.
Okay.
Got pregnant. Oh my goodness, what are we going to do? Left the pregnancy test laying on the edge of my walk-in shower, and you decide to take a shower in my shower.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep, I was showering.
Do you need therapy about that?
Mm-hmm. And then I looked at that, and I picked it up. And I looked at it kind of like that.
Who left this thermometer
And
laying around?
Did you stick it in your mouth?
And let me check mine. Let me check my too. Put it down. It's probably the first time I've ever seen a pregnancy test. Kept showering. Picked that thing up again. Put it down. I probably did that 4 times. I said, what in the world? And then got out of the shower. Me and Daniel were going to go watch a movie. Went in there. Daniel was probably yelling at me the whole time. You know, come on, let's, whatever, we're going to watch this movie. Go in there. I said, Daniel, you are never going to believe what I just found. I said, Mom's pregnant. He said, shut up.
So anyway, that night I was like, well, we might as well go ahead and tell the boys, Shane. So I'm already in the bed. Shane calls them to the doorway, and the way they look, I'm like, how do they know already? Anyway, so that was just, it was wonderful, but horrible. But we were really excited after we talked ourselves all through it. Like, this can be good. You know, it's going to keep us young. It's going to keep us active. Shane, you don't like to do anything anyway. So here's you something to do. Raise a kid. It's funny because we were gone all day. I was in Houston all day long. So I had to wake him up to tell him. And then I left and was gone all day. And I was with Shanna and Tracy and maybe Belinda. I don't know. And I'm sure that they didn't know why I was so spaced out.
Yeah.
But then we told everybody and they understood. So we did. We made a big deal about it. Shane still probably has the video somewhere of us going around house to house, announcing it to everybody. Oh my goodness. They made a cake and then went for the first doctor's visit after I finally got a doctor 4 months in. And here we go. They can't find a heartbeat. They do an ultrasound. Sorry, the baby's dead. 4 months in.
Mm-hmm.
So all that, you know, telling everybody, and then the baby did not make it. So, and the doctor instantly was like, I want to send you over to the hospital. They're going to do a DNC because you're quite far along. Like, they could tell it was a boy and everything. And it's too much matter, you know, for you. You'll be miserable if you just wait and go into labor naturally. You need to go, you know, get it surgically removed. And I was like, I just can't do that right now. So we went home, and the doctor was so ugly from that point on. He was horrible. And I won't call his name because that might be slander. But Shane would like to slander him. He was like, basically, you're so stupid to do that to yourself. And I was like, I just need time. So we came home, prayed, believed for a miracle, called him Lazarus. Like, baby Lazarus, God's going to raise him back to life. Took Daniel and Jace out of school to go have more ultrasounds with us because we were like, you know what? Either this is going to be the only time they get to see their little brother, or they're going to see a miracle. Yeah. Either way, we want them there. So it was a whole family ordeal. We all go to the hospital for this ultrasound, and no, the baby was not living. He was not back to life yet. So it was a very dreadful time, a very hard time in my life. I remember driving down Max Lee one day, and the Nashes were still here. And I have this dead baby inside of me. And it was just, it's traumatic. Still coming to work every day at the school. But I was driving down Max Lee, and Sister Nash, maybe was checking her mail or something. I think she was outside, or I wouldn't have pulled in there. But I just pulled in there, and I just fell apart. I was like, Sister Nash, I can't do this. I want to have faith. I want to believe, but I can't. It's just horrible, blah, blah, blah. And she just held me, and she was like, it's fine, and whatever. I don't remember what she said, but I appreciate people. In moments when you need them, they're there. So then on a Sunday, I think it was, I got sick, started running fever and shaking, and It was, the dead matter decaying inside of me. It's just terrible. We went to the hospital. They tried all kinds of stuff to make me go into labor. I never went into labor. Never went into labor with Daniel. Never went into labor with Jace. My body doesn't know how to have babies. So I couldn't even get rid of the dead baby. And the doctor wouldn't schedule a DNC because he was angry with me because I didn't do it right away. So instead, he tries to induce labor, and it's just miserably uncomfortable, painful, very invasive. And he just is so rough every time he would come in there, just hateful and rough, like being abducted. Anyway, all through the night, Jason and Daniel sleep on the floor. Next morning, before daylight, in barges the lovely doctor, slams the lights on like this, checks me roughly. Nothing. I'm not having the baby. Blaine's like, well, I guess you're going to have surgery. So I asked the nurses later, I was like, is he always like that? I don't know. I think it was a spiritual thing. So they chopped the baby up and sucked it out. That was very traumatic too. First thing I said coming to after the surgery was something to the effect of, were you able to keep it all in one piece? Or, I was just so worried about them chopping the baby up. Anyway, so that was traumatic. Sad coming home with no baby. But that spurned fostering. So we're all worked up, geared up to have a baby. And then you're disappointed. Well, we had talked about adoption casually, I guess, our whole marriage. Just something we would love to do, but it never seemed practical. When you have little kids, the last thing you want to do is bring other foreign children into your little safe, loving bubble because you don't know what you're getting. And you might hurt your children. That's how you think as a young parent. And then once they're older, they're 8, they're 9, they're brushing their teeth, they're wiping their own honeys. You're like, why would I start over? Yeah. And so we just never did it. It was never a good time. And then this. So we're like, let's foster. Let's just do it. So we put the pedal to the metal, went to an information meeting, got all the information and started. And in 6 months, about $1,000 later, we had everything in order. The whole home, baby proofed, everything. All of our certifications, all of our classes, all of our inspections, fire inspector, everything. Home study. It's intense. We did it all. Quick. Driven. Got our first placements, finally. Right before Christmas, they called. They had 2 little girls. Actually, they had 4, but we weren't certified for school-age children. We'd only got certified for 4 and under because I worked at a private school. Foster kids have to go to public school. It would have just been crazy for me to have, kids in private school, kids in public school. So we just did. Anyway, got 2 little girls. They stank so bad. 2 and 10 months. A redhead and a brunette. They got there late on a Wednesday night. We didn't make it to church because we were waiting on our little kids to get there. We bathed them. They still stank. They had already bathed them at the prison. They still stank. They were happy. Aria would just crawl around on the floor. Anna was quiet. She just sat in Shane's lap. She just liked Shane. And that was that. We had them for 9 months. And just about 3 days in, I was like, I don't think I can let them go. I don't think anybody can take these kids away from me. But, I mean, we had been well trained and we were very supportive of reunification. Yeah. Well, it was Christmas time, so we didn't want the kids all separated. The state didn't want the kids separated. So we also got their older brother and sister, Aiden and Arena, all through Christmas. Didn't have a vehicle. I mean, we had a Toyota Camry. it held just me and Shane and Jason Daniel. So we got the red church van. And all through Christmas, that's what we drove to all the holiday gatherings. We had 6 kids: Aiden, Arena, Anna, Aria, and Jason Daniel. And it was chaos. It was crazy chaotic. But after all the chaos, and then Aiden and Arena went to another foster home in Beaumont. After Christmas and everything got settled into a schedule, yeah, they just became part of the family. They were ours. And then, like 9 months later, they were leaving to be adopted, going to Wisconsin. In the meantime, about spring break, March, we got them in December. About March, the state called and said, hey, their mama just had a baby. Do you want it? And we knew the baby was coming, and I really wanted it, but Shane was like, it's too much. There's no way. There's no way we can take another baby right now. So baby Bella went to a foster home in Diabol. Is that right out of Lufkin? Yeah, Diabol. And so we saw her once, and that was it. But anyway, about September, yeah, we got the call that they were all going to Wisconsin. So the state gathered them all up. Aiden and Arena from Beaumont, Bella from Diabol, Aria and Anna from Kirbyville, put them all in a car, took them to the airport, and they went, which Aiden and Arena remembered their grandmother. They were going to their grandmother's. Bella didn't know anybody. She didn't know her siblings. And Aria and Anna knew Aiden and Arena, but didn't know anybody where they were going. They were going to a great aunt. She did not do FaceTime. I finally got a picture of her, but they literally were going to a stranger's home to be adopted. And that was the hardest thing. That was worse than burying a child. It was because, I mean, those were ours. It was worse than losing a baby because we had memories. They were ours, and we knew just the horrible, yeah. Aria cried every night once we got her. Happy baby during the day, but night terrors. And I was like, all that's coming back, Just that terror of not knowing, having everything ripped from under you. I had a little prayer cloth that the whole church prayed over before they left. And they were church babies. Everybody was attached to them. So the whole church prayed over this prayer cloth, and I just stuck it in a suitcase, knowing, where's it going to end up? I still have that prayer cloth. When I unpacked their suitcases, that prayer cloth was in there. And I was like, how in the world did the aunt even know what that was? But all that time, we stayed in contact. We called them. They got to where they really, weren't that interested in talking to us. They were gone for 18 months. And throughout that time, like, I went and got them, flew down there, me and Shanna, flew down there, picked them up, brought them back. Gonna keep them for 2 weeks. The aunt agreed. But they were ready to go home. They missed their aunt and their home. So I brought them back after 1 week. And so we healed. The grieving process was horrible. I mean, y'all don't see Shane cry much, but that day he had a dish towel that he carried around. He cried so much over those girls leaving, especially Aria. She was the baby, and like Adelise is with him now. It was just death. It was death. We lost our children, and we were happy. We were happy they were being reunited with family. But through the 18 months of them being in Wisconsin, I would pray, God, just send someone to knock on their door and witness to them, to win that aunt and that uncle, and teach them about Jesus. I don't want those girls to forget the name of Jesus. I want them to know that wherever they go, they can call on Jesus. I didn't want them to forget that. I mean, they forgot us pretty much. But I was like, please just let that be in their lives. Send someone. Little did I know God would let me answer my own prayer. I would be that someone to let them not forget about Jesus. So that, I mean, yeah, they were gone. Closure
completely healed, heart healed. We were over the grief. I didn't want him. I moved on. I mean, we had Evan. We fostered other children. I never wanted to adopt anyway. Um, then in October, they left in September. In October, we got some children, and they were older. We changed our certification because there was such a need. And I finally did agree to take some school-age children, and we got Kevin and Jacob and Raven. And Kevin is the kid that changed my heart towards adoption. Of course, that was a tough 2 weeks too. That's how long we had him. Taking little Jacob to kindergarten and dropping him off, and tears welling up in his eyes. You know, they were just the sweetest little kids. But Kevin sat on Jace's bed one night with Jace's guitar and strummed it and made up this song about how he appreciated us. And he was 8 years old and just got taken from everything he knew, sleeping in a stranger's home. So in the shower that night, God changed my heart toward adoption through Kevin. You know, children that we had for 2 weeks, everything played a part. And Kevin is the child that changed my heart toward adoption. And I told Shane, I said, I think I could adopt. And in the meantime, we got Lacey. Heart still raw at that point from losing Aria and Anna. They asked if we wanted a baby. Sure, bring us a baby. They show up with Lacey, and they had not forewarned me that she weighed 4 pounds. And so when I see her in the car seat, I'm like, oh my goodness. You did not tell me she was so tiny. So we got Lacey. And story behind her nickname is her name was Annalise. And I was like, are you kidding me? I cannot call this kid Anna. I just lost my Anna. So we called her the baby for a couple weeks. And finally I was like, well, I guess we'll call her Lise because I can't call her Anna.
Yeah.
So that's where Lise came from. And then upon adoption, I was not having an Anna Lee and an Annalise. And neither one of them understand that. But I was like, I am not introducing my daughters as Anna Lee and Annalise. So we changed her, Adelise. We changed her name to Adelise. But yeah, way down the road, 1.5 years later, of course I still pray for Ari and Anna and all of them, but they're not mine. I mean, they're gone, they're done. But in the meantime, I mean, I was concerned. Shane was highly concerned because they were putting Anna on sleeping medication because she wouldn't take naps and she wouldn't even listen to a whole book. Really? Does anybody know Anna?
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't make sense. I knew Anna.
Yeah.
What I was hearing didn't make sense. I said, Shane, either something's seriously wrong or they're just straight up lying.
Yeah.
They're just looking for reasons to put her on sleeping medication. No, Anna doesn't take naps. So what?
Yeah.
She's a child. Deal with her. And then Aria, which we all know she does need head medication, but they were trying to put her on psych meds.
Yeah.
And when Shane heard that they were trying, and it was all for money. Because if a foster child has special needs, then maybe you can get financial help for them. So it all came out that really this aunt did not want these children. She wanted a paycheck so she could retire. Probably shouldn't say that, but anyway. So God gave them back to us. We prayed for their well-being, and God saw fit that they would be better off here. And shocker of all shocks was that day when my caseworker stopped by the house and she was like, hey, where's Shane? I was like, oh, you just missed him. He just left. She said, well, call him. Tell him to come back. I said, okay. So he came back and we're just twiddling our thumbs till he gets there. And she says, sit down. She said, do y'all want kids? And we were like, yeah, we're foster people. Of course we want kids. Because we didn't, Evan was gone. Lacey was gone. Lacey had gone back to her mom and dad. They did real good. Got her back.
You're going to have to circle back through and
tell that story too. Dear Lord, y'all are glutton for punishment. So yeah, we had an empty home besides our real kids. And they were boring.
Who cares about them?
No.
Yeah, they just stayed in their rooms on their phones. So yeah, we want kids. Stacy. And Stacy's like, well, they come with adoption papers. And we're like, oh,
well, that's kind of different story. Okay, what you got? They're like, well, Anna, Aria, and their little sister Bella. And we're like, you're kidding. She's like, no, they're going to get them. They're coming back to Texas. And we were like, you have got to be kidding. I mean, this was the impossible. There was no way these kids were ever coming back to Texas. And now not only are they coming back to Texas, they're coming back to us. Like, we get first dibs. And we're like, yes. I mean, there was no hesitation. And we didn't even know Bella. I mean, saw her twice. Once, just in passing, because she was at a visitation where we had brought our girls to. And then the day that they left, I saw her in the car seat. And that was it. But we were like, yes, without a doubt. So we go from, no, we can't take another baby to, yeah, we'll take all three of them. So yeah, God just does change your heart slowly but surely. But yeah, in the meantime, Lacey, she just had a way. She stole our hearts from day one, all of us. But she did go back to her mom and dad. And we stayed in touch, just like we did with Anna and Aria. Always, we were like her grandparents. We'd call and be like, hey, can we have her for the weekend? And her mama would let her come get him. Let us go get her in Nederland. Sometimes Shanna would go get her or bring her back for us. And then one day, Lacey's mom called and was like, I don't have diapers. And I was like, okay, we'll get you some. But I was like, that ain't good.
Yeah.
And so I talked, to the people involved in their oversight and shared my concern. And I said, well, I'll bring you diapers, but I want her for the weekend. When I bring you the diapers, can I keep her? And they never got her back from that day. They did some investigating and things weren't as they had been reported. Mom and dad weren't actually together. That was all a facade. They had never been together through the whole case. He was just in and out and verbally and physically abusive. There was still drug use. So, yeah, we didn't just get 3 kids. We got 4 kids. But it all worked out just seamlessly. So we had to foster Bella for 6 months before we could adopt her. So they stayed foster kids for 6 months, but we knew they were ours. Lise, that was just another God thing because her parents, like I said, they did really good the first stint. The court system gives parents these things they have to do in order to get their kids back. And if you do this class and this many hours this and get a job and get a house and it's a whole list of things you got to check off. And they did all of it. And they were determined to do it again, whatever it took. And great people, sweet people. I mean, we maintain a relationship with them. But that day walking into the courthouse when they were trying to get Lacey back, they were determined. And she never said it in an ugly way, but they had let us know, we're going to do whatever it takes. We will get our daughter. And we were like, we'll support you. We always have. And so court went on. Everybody testified that needed to testify. All the reports were given. And then they just took this little recess for, I don't know what the reason was, but everybody involved in the case went to the back. Mom, dad, the lawyers, the DA, and we were just sitting in the courtroom waiting for them to reconvene. And a lady comes out and is like, Mitchells, will y'all come back here? And so we walk and we round the corner into a tiny little room. And there sits the mom and the dad, and they're both just crying. And I knew instantly they're going to give us their daughter. And this woman that was working the case, I don't even know her title. I believe she's some type of attorney. She knew Owen, Lisa's father. Owen would come and stay the night at her house. She had a son his age. They went to school together. They were friends. I mean, she knew Owen. And she talked to him straightforward. I'm sure totally unethical, and she just told him, you know, you need to do what's best for your daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And they just decided right then. They switched from, we're going to fight and we're going to do whatever it takes to get our daughter, to, you know what, we love our daughter enough to not do what we really want to do and do what's best for her. And so that's what they did that day. And just bawling and squalling, they answered all the questions like, does high blood pressure run in your family? Who's your mama? Who's your daddy? I mean, you know, it was so humbling to sit there and watch two parents do that, to entrust their most valued possession, the only good in their lives, really, the only good in those two people's lives. And they handed it to us that day. This the most humbling thing I've ever been a part of, was to be handed somebody else's child and say, you know, because I love them and because they are so valuable to me, I want you to have them. So that was a really cool experience. And yeah, we stay in touch with the mom still. Sadly, the dad passed, and I got to take Lise to his funeral. That was a different experience. So yeah, I mean, man, no. When I was a kid going to Africa, when I was going to Levelland, no, I never saw any of this. This is not how I would have planned out my life. Never saw it. But if God would have given me the liberty to plan my life, it wouldn't have been near as good either. And I could not have orchestrated it the way it has all come together. I would not have adopted these kids in this time, but God just has a way of preparing you little by little, just right on time.
And so in 2019, we adopted all 4 of them.
June 14th. They were ages 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Mm-hmm.
And there were about 40 people that came to the courthouse that day with t-shirts that said, "It takes a village."
Mm-hmm.
Thank God. It was cool.
Well,
so let's turn the tables real quick. Do you resent your parents?
That's a good question. No.
What is it like being the baby for 14 years, just you and a brother, and then bam, your stupid parents go and adopt 4 girls?
It was negligible at the point. Now, if I was 11 or 12, I think it would have been different, but...
You were mature enough to handle it?
Yeah, I was a grown man.
I was his best friend. No, he wasn't. He'd come cry to me. Just jealous. And
It was really good timing because Daniel was already pretty well working full time. He'd go to school and he'd go to work at lunchtime. He was working. And so he was already leaving, and shortly after would move out into the apartment. And then I was working too at 15. I got my job at Jenny's, and I was unconcerned. So
I've got gaps in there because I remember when y'all got the girls. I remember Evan. I think I was there for whatever, which I lived next door, but I was like at y'all's house when Lee showed up, I'm pretty sure. I remember for sure that first night. I don't know if it was exactly. It might have
been at HYC. I think it might have been during HYC because I remember like FaceTiming y'all or something. Be like, we got a baby.
I was there when the
that guy showed up.
Maybe not. Maybe it was just in the first couple of days.
I don't know.
Yeah. I don't remember the other kids. Where was I?
You don't remember Jacob? And well, literally, we only had him for 2 weeks. They came right at Halloween.
Was it directly after Evan? Because I went back to Africa for that short period of time.
Okay.
So I wasn't here when Evan left. Evan was my buddy. I'd adopted that kid if I could have.
Yeah, you and Karina both.
Really?
Karina wanted him. Mm-hmm.
It's funny. Jace pointed out the other day, Remington, if you sit and think about it, reminds you a lot of Evan. Mm-hmm. Lord heard my prayers.
Yeah. Yeah, we got to hunt Evan down. We love you, Evan. We're coming to find you. He's like, creeps.
Yeah. Who are these people?
He's Arya's age, like almost exactly.
Really?
Hmm.
That's
Crazy
so
to
weird.
think of.
Yeah, 10 years old.
It's so weird. Yeah.
Let's reconcile all of this. You went through all of this trauma that revolved around loss. Some of it turned out to happy endings. You got the girls back. Others of it, through the miscarriage and things like that, there's no happy ending to that specific.
But I wouldn't have 4 children if
Right.
it weren't for one death.
Right.
One death brought about
Yeah.
4
So
children.
somebody's listening to this, they've gone through some sort of loss. How did you reconcile it in the moment? We see, it's easy to sit now and see how it all works out. But in the moment when you talk about having that faith, specifically with miscarriage,
Yeah.
have that faith, it's going to work out. God's going to heal. God's going to bring back to life, and it doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
How do you reconcile that? And
You just have to trust God.
yeah,
And I think through all of this, that is what has become so strong in me. And when you trust God and you try to encourage other people to trust God, there are no words. There's nothing I can tell you besides you just got to trust him. It's not going to make sense, and there's nothing I can say to make it make sense. It is blind, stupid trust. And when it doesn't make sense, and when it hurts, and when it's disappointing and really lets you down, you just trust him. And hopefully one day you'll understand.
Yeah.
But it's just trust. It's simply learning to trust that he has my best interest at heart, regardless of how it feels right now. That's what I've learned. You just trust him one day at a time. I don't have to have the whole plan. You don't have to lay it all out for me. Just tell me the next step. And that's what he's always done. Even just hearing Jay say that, I'm like, wow, it really was perfect timing. Had we done it when they were little, it might have been a fiasco.
Yeah.
Had we done it when they were 8 and 9, they might have been resentful and we might have lost them in gaining others. But
In closing, I've been asking everyone the same question to kind of summarize their life, or at least what they want their life to be. And it's a question, something along the lines of, when your life is over, what do you hope people say about you? I'm going to frame yours a little differently, since the bulk of your testimony and your story revolves around kids. When your life is over, what do you want your kids to remember about you?
I guess I really don't care if they remember anything specifically about me. It's kind of like the night I got the Holy Ghost. I can't tell you what songs were sung. I can't tell you even for sure who preached, and certainly not what was preached, but it's what you take away from it. So I really don't care what you remember or don't remember, or how you remember me. But it's just, if you take away that I don't care what you become, I don't care how rich or how poor, I don't care if you ride the back of the trash truck. I have always told God this, and I've always meant it. If you serve God, I am the happiest mama ever. And for my kids to be in heaven with me. But not just make it to heaven. I want you to have a full life. My prayer for my children, and all the children in this church, please don't let them glorify the devil, not one day. I hope none of our children give 1 ounce of glory to the devil. May their whole entire lives, every moment, yes, I know we'll make mistakes. We all have. But the whole picture is glory to God. It's all glory to God. Don't let one moment of their lives glorify the enemy. And that's my prayer, because sin hurts. It leaves scars. It ruins your life. And a life lived for God is so full, so free, so fulfilling. If you ride the back of the trash truck every day and live for God, you're going to have the best life. The best, most happy, most peaceful, most fulfilled life. Just serving God, trusting him day by day, moment by moment. So I don't care how anybody really remembers me. Anything I said or did or wore, or if they imitate my hairstyles. But
if they just learn to trust God and live for him, hallelujah.
Amen. We started this closing tradition where uh, a question is left for the next guest, not knowing who they're leaving it for. So we're going to let you do that. Before you do that, you can start thinking about it. The question left for you, not knowing who you would be, was, do you feel like these podcasts are beneficial in helping others going through trials?
I hope so. I think so. I think everybody that listens to them takes something away and finds a little nugget of interest. Like, I didn't know that.
Me too. We hope so.
Hope so. Hope
Even,
I just-
even, with the sound
No.
glitches, everything. I think it's all good.
No.
Yeah, it's real. It's raw.
Yeah. Not knowing who you're leaving your question for, what do you want to ask? And you can take a second and think about it. It could be
Okay.
anything, as broad or as...
I'm going to ask a guest a question. Oh. Okay. If you could go anywhere in the world tomorrow, where would you go? It's paid for. You're not going to leave anything undone. No stresses, no worries. Everything's going to be taken care of here and there. And yeah, where would you go?
Okay. Well, Mom, we appreciate you coming on
Yeah, you're welcome.
and giving us this time.
Mhm.
And I do pray that you listeners, find great value in this and are touched and blessed and all of the above. Thank you.